Hi everybody, here we go. Here is the food cycle overview video for the Faster Way to Fat Loss plans. Now, while there are similarities in the women's and the men's program, there are also differences. So this video is only focused on the ladies. This is for the women. So if you are a gentleman, please go find your own video. So here we go, ladies. You ready? Let's dig in. So hopefully you've had a chance to kind of go onto the portal and log into that comprehensive program guide that you see in there. And if you did that, you will see that there are 3 different eating patterns that repeat every week. Okay, so those 3 different days are low carb days, regular macro days, and low macro days. Now, don't feel overwhelmed by all of these days and trying to figure them all out. They'll repeat every week and you'll get the hang of it. And then once you do, you'll actually like the fact that there is variety in your eating pattern and you're not just eating the same way every single day from that standpoint. So I'm going to dig in first on low carb days. Low carb days are going to be every Monday and Tuesday, and they are intentionally back to back. I personally like having them on Monday and Tuesday because now that I'm in kind of the maintenance mode for the Faster Way, if I tend to overindulge a little bit on the weekend, having that Monday and Tuesday back to back low carb just erases that and gets me right back into it and sets my week up strong. So this is kind of a little tricky to get the hang of, but it's definitely where some of the magic happens. So really, really work on nailing down those low carb days. All right, so what are they? So remember in the MyFitnessPal video, if you've logged on and set up MyFitnessPal, you saw that your protein was 20%. You are going to keep that the same on low carb days. So there is no change to protein. What does change is your fat in your carbohydrate mix. What we want to do, hence low carb, is really limit the carbs that we're eating on these 2 days. The goal that you're going to shoot for is a maximum of net 50 grams of carbs. Now, yes, doing a net carb count does require a little bit of math. What you want to do is you want to take your total carbs less your fiber, and that is your net 50 grams for the day. And that means that if we just reduced our carbs, kept our protein the same, fat is going to be what really picks it up and makes up the balance of that pie chart such that you're still hitting your total calorie goals for the day, and fat is making up that delta that you see. So if you're good at technology, you can change your goals in the MyFitnessPal for these 2 days. Somewhere around 15% carbs is what we're looking at. We're maintaining the 20% for the protein, and your fat is making up the balance at about 65%. So if you want to change it, you can go ahead and change it. You just can't forget to change it back to that 50-30-20 mix come Wednesday from that standpoint. So let me see if I can share my screen with you really quick. And see. Yes, let's share this, please. See if you can see this. So here is a low carb. This was Tuesday of this week, what my pie chart looked like. As you can see, the fat, like I talked about, makes up the bulk now of the pie chart. So now if I look at this was the top, the macros option. This is the bottom, the nutrition bottom at the bottom of the your daily diary. If you click that button, and it gives you these options. And what we talked about on the MyFitnessPal video is looking at that macro pie chart. Now, if you click over and look at the nutrients option at the top, so this was the macros option, this is the nutrients option, it gives you the detailed breakdown of all the nutrients that were in your daily intake. So when I was talking about net 50, I was looking at the 52 carbs less the 23 fiber got me closer to the net 30 range-ish using rounded math. And so the maximum you want to be shooting for is the net 50. So if you're eating the whole foods, a gluten-free, dairy-free, and following the plan, which I know you are, you're probably having about that 20 to 25 grams of fiber a day. So starting at 50 carbs plus the 20 to 25, you're looking at total carbs of about 70 to 75, which will get you down to that net 50 from that standpoint. So that's kind of what you're looking for at the end of the day on the MyFitnessPal. Some of this probably went over your head and seems complicated, but by the end of the 6 weeks, you will be nailing that net 50. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and you'll be totally loving the low carb days. So Let's talk about why we do low carb days. I quickly want you to understand the science behind it to get you focused on it. So right now, if you are kind of eating the normal standard American diet, your body is a sugar burner. It is taking the carbohydrates that you are eating and it is converting that into glucose and burning that glucose as energy. Throughout this program, we want to teach our body to also burn fat for energy, not just glucose. So the first way to do that is to limit your body's glycogen, its glucose stores. And so on low carb days, because we're not replenishing those glycogen stores, they are going to be depleted. And that is going to force our body to look somewhere else for energy. And the body's second source of energy after glycogen is fat. So on those low carb days, when we deplete our glycogen stores, we're going to force our body to rely on energy, or the fat for energy. And we are really, really, really going to hammer that home by matching up those low carb days with our only 2 cardio days of the week. So you want to be doing your high intensity interval training, that cardio that really gets your heart rate up, on Mondays and Tuesdays only, and matching it with those low carb days, like I said. This will really force your body to dig deep into those fat stores and rely on that for energy from that standpoint. That's why so many people struggle to lose that last 5 to 10 pounds they want to, because their body is constantly burning glycogen and it never can access those fat stores. So when Mondays and Tuesdays seem tough, just tell yourself, this is when your body is accessing those fat stores that it otherwise never would, from that standpoint. Now, it does take a little bit of time for your body to get used to being a fat burner, since you primarily are a sugar burner. So the first few weeks of doing these low carb days, by the end of Tuesday, you might be feeling a little bit tired, lethargic. You might even have a faint headache. Those are kind of the detox symptoms of your body transitioning from being a glycogen burner to a fat burner. But stick with it. It's temporary. Once your body learns how to do it, you will not have those detox systems anymore. They'll go away. So that's kind of the science behind why we want to focus on those low carb days, Mondays and Tuesdays, paired with our cardio. So let me give you a little bit of tips. Let's set ourselves up for success. Because this is a different way of eating for you, I want more preparation and thought put into what you're going to eat. Don't be looking to breaking your fast that day and opening the refrigerator for the first time and going, what should I eat? Really, especially in the first few weeks, think about it the night before, maybe even a few days before if it requires different food from the grocery store. Plan out your eating. Plan it out the night before or the morning before. Please do not wait till you're breaking your fast. Load it into MyFitnessPal. Figure it out from that standpoint so that you are setting yourself up for success for the day. My second tip is figure out what go-to low-carb snacks you like to eat and have them on hand. Should you be feeling hungry? Again, similar to my first tip, you don't want to be opening up the refrigerator and going, oh, what am I going to eat? So much of our go-to food has carbs in it. So I need you to find your go-to food for a low carb day. Is it nuts? Is it veggies, eggs, and avocado? Figure it out, all that really exciting, healthy, whole food. But figure out which one you like and have it be accessible on your low carb days. Next, drink water. Lots and lots of water on these days. Sometimes you might be thinking you're feeling hungry. Your body is actually telling you that you're thirsty. So really, really concentrate on your water intake these days as well. And that will also help, especially in the beginning, with some of those like detox symptoms as your body is converting how it's burning its energy. And then onto the food. I mean, really think about how you want to vary your proteins and your healthy fats so that you're not like, oh my gosh, low carb day, I eat the same boring stuff all the time. Although that is personally how I do it. I like eating the same boring stuff all the time, but many people don't. So think about kind of what are the healthy fats that you want to incorporate into your diet, whether it be some fish or nuts or avocados. Cook your vegetables in coconut oil. Coconut oil is great. Really try to mix it up a little bit within there so that you have some variety in your diet. Cook with chicken thighs instead of chicken breasts. That's one way to up your fat intake. Add some almond butter or some full-fat coconut milk to your smoothies. There is really many different easy ways to up that fat that you're eating throughout the day with healthy fats. And so it will take practice. It will take kind of coming up with what your go-to is, but you can do it. Ask questions on the Facebook group. I'm here to help, and have ideas and suggestions too. So let us know what you're thinking. And lastly is mindset. Yep, low carb is a different way of eating. I get it, but it's 2 days. You can do it. On Wednesday, we are going to go ahead and replenish our glycogen stores. So just really, really, really have that positive mindset of this is where some of the magic is happening, and we are going to, nail these low carb days. All right, so that's enough on low carb day. Again, they're Monday, Tuesday. So moving on, regular macro day. Regular macro day is going to be Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Again, 3 days, regular macros, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And this is in the MyFitnessPal video when we set up MyFitnessPal and we went to the macro mixes of 50% carbohydrates, 30% fat, 20% protein. That is what you are following on these 3 days. It is as simple as following the default MyFitnessPal settings that we set up in the MyFitnessPal video. With one exception, actually. The exception is going to be Saturday. So throughout this entire program, as you know, we are focusing on whole foods, if it grew from the ground, if it has a mother, that are gluten-free and dairy-free. A lot of people have inflammation responses to gluten and dairy. You might think you feel fine and can process them, but how do you know your body is not using some of your energy to really combat that inflammation? So eliminate them for the 6 weeks and see if you feel a difference in your energy levels. I personally do. I think it's great. And so really, really want you to commit to doing that. But that exception I was talking about on Saturday, that is the day that if you want, which many people do, you can incorporate one exception from that gluten-free, dairy-free rule, so a treat, into your macros for that day. So if you want to make Saturday pizza day, and that's kind of pizza day with the family, participate in it. Don't be like, oh, can't have it, it's gluten. This is the one day that you can kind of really have that one thing that you want that you don't want to say no to for the rest of your life for the next 7 weeks. Have it on Saturday. However, it's not an addition to your macros for the day. It is included in your macros for the day. So that slice of pizza does need to be included in the calculation of that 50% carbs, 30% fat, 20% protein goals for the day. We are just kind of breaking from the whole food, gluten-free, dairy-free plan that we are eating. All right, so let me just talk about the workout philosophy now for these days. Now that we've replaced our glycogen stores, now it is time to lift heavy and build that lean muscle mass that you need in your body. So lifting days will always, always be paired with regular macro days. The program calls for 2 days that are full body lifts and 1 day that is leg day, Saturday, that's paired with your treat day. Like I said, lift heavy. My indicator that I'm lifting heavy is I'm fatiguing and struggling to get those last reps in each set without sacrificing form. Occasionally, I can't even do the last 2. So that's how I know I'm lifting heavy enough. My form is on point, but yet I am kind of like struggling by the end. That's how heavy I lift from that standpoint. So again, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays are your regular macro days matched with your lifting days. The third and last eating pattern in the weekly food cycle is your low macro day. This is going to be the last 2 days of the week we haven't talked about yet, Friday and Sunday, also known as your rest or active recovery days, which is why they are paired with low macro days. So again, this is going to take a little bit of math, but what you want to do is you're going to take your regular macro day macros and reduce them by 25%. Such that means you're consuming 75% of them. So let's do easy math. If your regular macro carbohydrate goal is to have 200 grams of carbohydrates, you're going to reduce that by 25%. 25% of 200 is 50 grams. 200 less 50 is 150 grams of carbohydrates. That now is my new goal for my low macro day, 150 grams of carbohydrates. Again, you could also do the inverse of that and take the 200 times 75%, because that's what you are eating, which equals your 150 grams. You want to take that same 25% reduction, 75% consumption, and do that same math to your protein and to your fat goals. And there you have it. Those will be your new goals on low macro day. Now, I do want you to keep these recovery days serious. We are creating a calorie deficit here in order to also help encourage the fat loss on our body. However, we don't want to overdo it. You do not want to be adding a workout in as well, because then if you create too much of a calorie deficit, your thyroid won't be functioning optimally, and we really want to keep everything going in order to optimize our energy levels, and from that standpoint. So what does that all mean? That means if you personally need to change a lifting day, let's say you have to lift on Friday and you're not lifting on Saturday, well, when you switch workout days, you also need to be switching eating days. So Friday will now become your regular macro day. Saturday will now become your low macro day. So think about it. Of those 5 regular macro and low macro days, 3 of them are regular macros, 3 of them are lifting, 2 of them are low macro days, 2 of them are rest days. The program is outlining Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday as the regular macro and the lifting, Friday, Sunday as the low macro and the rest day. If you want to swap days, because that's what works best in your life, or just for 1 week, that is totally fine, but make sure you're swapping the workouts and the food hand in hand together. Make sense? All right, that was a lot, right? So there you have it. Definitely let me know if you have any questions on these 3 different eating patterns throughout the week. And do not feel overwhelmed by them. They'll repeat every week throughout the program. And by the end, you'll like the fact that there is variety in how you're eating. And so prep week, week 1, you may feel a little overwhelmed by all of this, but I'm here to support you and I'm here to help you get the hang of it. And I know you're going to do great. So thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching. And again, let me know what questions you have.